Alright, so in this video, in part 2, we are going to be drawing our map tiles into the canvas, and we're also going to be drawing an @ symbol into the canvas to represent the player. So we're going to start off with adding a new method to our root class here. We're going to call it trace, so define trace self args. And then we're going to start off with try. And then we're going to do world size is equal to self.world size underscore var.get. So we're basically getting whatever the user inputs into the world size entry. And then we're going to try and convert it into the integer. Okay. So if for whatever reason it doesn't convert into an integer, we are going to get an I believe it's a value error. So we're going to do except value error. Then we're going to do self.update underscore button dot config. State is equal to disabled. Okay. So if we get a value error, basically what we're doing is we're going to the update button, and then we're going to make it where the user cannot click on it to update the map. All right. So now we're going to go back up and let's see, we're going to do an if statement. So if world size is less than 1, we're going to raise in value error. Okay. Then else, we're going to do self.update underscore button dot config. State is equal to normal. Okay. So basically, if the user enters an invalid value, we're going to make it where they can't update the map by disabling the button. And if they do, we're going to make it where they can update the map by making sure the button is enabled. Okay. All right. So now we're going to add a trace to our world size variable. So we're going to do self.world size underscore var.trace add. We're going to input write. So each time the user writes a new value into the entry, we're going to run our trace method. Okay. And then just to make sure, we're going to go down here and do self.trace. We're just going to run that method whenever the root is initialized. So now let's save and run it. Okay, so as you can see, we have a valid value here, so we can click the button. And so let's see what happens whenever we get rid of it. So whenever it's empty, we can't update anything, and the button is disabled. And so let's see what happens if we put something like 0, still disabled, negative, whatever that number is, still disabled. And if we put letters in there, it's still disabled. So change this back to 10, and let's move on. Okay. So now we are going to add another method so we can start drawing tiles. So we define update map self. Okay. And I'm gonna just put a comment here, draw tiles. Okay, so we need to get our canvas. So can is equal to self.map underscore can. And then we're just going to completely clear the canvas. So can.delete all. Okay. All right. So now we need to get our world size. So world size is equal to int self.world size underscore var.get. Okay. So we're also going to need our canvas width and height. So can underscore width is equal to can.winfo underscore width. Can underscore height is equal to can.winfo underscore height. Okay, so now we're going to calculate how big our tile should be. So on the tile underscore width is equal to can underscore width divided by world size. And then tile underscore height is equal to can underscore height divided by world size. Okay. Now we're going to do a for loop. So for each row and range from 0 to world size. And then for each column in range from 0 to world size. All right, so the tiles are essentially just rectangles, so we're going to use the canvas.createRectangle method. But before we can do that, we need to calculate our two sets of coordinates that we're going to use for the method. So we're going to start with x is equal to column times tile width. Then we're going to do y is equal to row times tile height. Okay. Now for our second set, we're going to do x1 is equal to x plus tile width. I'm really struggling with this first one here. All right, so next we're going to do y1 is equal to y plus tile height. Oh. Okay, tile height. I don't know why I'm struggling with typing this stuff in now. Okay. So now that we have our coordinates, we are going to actually draw them onto the canvas with can.create rectangle. So we have x, y, x1, y1. Okay. So now we are going to go to our update button right here, and then we're going to do command is equal to self dot self.update underscore map. Okay. Now let's save and run that. All right. So we have 10. So whenever I click update, it should be a 10 by 10 tile map. Oh, and that clearly did something wrong. Let's see what's going on here. Oh, yeah, right here. So it should be column and then row. Made a little mistake there. Now let's see. There we go. So 10 by 10 tile map. Let's change it to 5. You have a 5 by 5. Change it to 2. 2 by 2. Let's see. Change it to 1. And you can't really see a difference there. But yeah. So now we are able to enter a number and update the tile map based on that number. Okay. All right, so now we are going to put the @ symbol onto the canvas. But before we do that, we are going to update the player location. So we're going to go up here to the top and do hashtag player, we'll do player coordinates, and then we're going to do self.player underscore x is equal to 0, self.player underscore y is equal to 0. Okay. Now I'm going to go down here and add another method. And it's going to be called define update underscore location. So self. Okay. So px is equal to self.player x, but we're going to convert it into a string. And we're going to do the same for py. So py is equal to string player y. Then we're going to do self.location underscore var dot set location, curly brackets, and then we're going to use format, and we're going to place px and py into there. So at the top of update underscore map, we're just going to call that function. So we'll do self.update underscore location and save. So let's run it, make sure everything's working. So whenever we click update, you should see location 0, 0. But I'm going to put a comma in there in between our x and y. That's more common. So update 0, 0. Okay. Okay. So now to actually draw the @ symbol onto the canvas, we're going to create another method. I'm going to call it define draw player self need an X, a Y, an X1, and a Y1. Okay. So we're going to draw the @ symbol in the middle of the tile. So we're going to have to calculate the midpoint of the tile. So calculate midpoint. So mx is equal to x plus x1 divided by 2. My is equal to y plus y1 divided by 2. Okay? And so we're going to do self dot map underscore can dot create text, and we're going to just pass in our mx and my, and then we're going to set the text equal to the @ symbol. Okay, so now we're going to go back up here to our update map, and right here we're going to do if row is equal to self dot player underscore x, and column is equal to self dot player underscore y. We're just going to do self dot draw underscore player, and then pass in x, y, x1, and y1. Alright, so now let's save and run that. Let's try updating it. And as you can see, since the player's location is at 0, 0, we are in row 0, and then we are in y0, or column 0 right here. So that's why the player is right here. So now let's see what happens if we change the coordinates up a little bit. Let's do something like 3, 7. Alright, now let's run that and update. As you can see, we are in row 3, so 1, 2, 3, and then, oh, sorry, it starts at 0, so 0, 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to be in column 7, so 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, okay? Okay, so in the next video, we are going to make it where the player can actually move throughout the 2D grid map by using the arrow keys, so stay tuned for that.